The first post-Katrina Jazz Fest in April 2006 was a beacon for New Orleanians. The streets of the city in early 2006 were lined with debris and piles from gutted houses. Roofs were wrapped in blue tarps, and FEMA trailers were everywhere. Flooded cars still clogged parking areas and neutral grounds, and the city was threatening to seize any homes not cleaned up by the storm's anniversary. And the Times-Picayune was reporting on a newly discovered problem: 5,000 miles of cracked pipes and $1 billion in damage under Metro New Orleans from the storm and flood. After the storm, the fairgrounds was in bad shape. The 1-2 punch of hurricanes Katrina and Rita had torn off the roof of the grandstand and shattered its giant plate glass windows. Retreating floodwaters had covered the grounds in a thick layer of sewage sludge. Rumors spread that Jazz Fest would be canceled, or would even be held in Austin or Memphis. But two important events made Jazz Fest 2006 happen. First, Shell became a special presenting sponsor of the festival, and then Churchill Downs, who had owned the fairgrounds for less than 2 years at that point, made a heroic push to get the whole facility functional. And so, in a singular moment in the history of music festivals, the 37th Jazz Fest took place right on schedule. On Friday, April 28, the gates opened, the crowd poured in, and the New Orleans Jazz Vipers kicked things off in the Economy Hall tent with a new song, "Hope You're Coming Back."
I hope you're coming back to New Orleans. You know it really is that land of dreams. There's no other city like New Orleans.
Other performers that day ranged from 19-year-old Jonathan Batiste to 94-year-old Lionel Furbos. Dr. John headlined on the Acura stage. And for the city's social aid and pleasure clubs, who couldn't parade in their own ravaged neighborhoods, Jazz Fest provided an opportunity to reconnect. In fact, that Jazz Fest turned into a reunion for all kinds of people: musicians, Mardi Gras Indians, long-lost neighbors, and other scattered members of the New Orleans diaspora. There were many emotional performances that year, but two stand out above the rest in New Orleanians' memories: John Boutet's heartfelt performance in the jazz tent, and Bruce Springsteen with the Seeger Sessions Band on the Acura stage. Both of them are still talked about today.
What's happening down here, y'all? The winds done changed. The clouds rolled in from the north, and it started to rain.
The 2006 festival wasn't totally the same as before. Jazz Fest was shortened that year to 6 days, and there were 2 fewer stages. For the first time since 1989, the Neville brothers did not close the Acura stage on the final day, due to concerns about Aaron Neville's asthma. Then Fats Domino, who'd been scheduled to take the place of the Nevilles, also had to cancel due to health reasons. Lionel Richie stepped up and took his place. It was all very much keeping with the 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards feeling of life in recovery mode New Orleans. Jazz Fest 2006 was an exceptional success. Nearly 350,000 people attended. Producer Quint Davis called it a shared catharsis, and most importantly, it looked and sounded and felt like the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. The greatest triumph was how familiar and reassuring it felt. Jazz Fest was a major bright spot during that most trying year in the city's history. Normalcy was a prize, and we'd won back just a little of it. For WWOZ, I'm Angela Hill.
WWOZ's celebration of Jazz Fest at 50 is made possible by the Gold Ring Foundation, the Hellis Foundation, the Remedy Room, the Ruth U. Fertel Foundation, the National World War II Museum, and Goldfarb Financial. Special thanks to the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation. Check out WWOZ.org for more Jazz Fest at 50.
They're trying to